Hello, I'm DanielleStimpson, and Cancer, this is your tarot reading for October 2022. Please make sure to watch through for your sun, moon, and rising signs if you know all three, and also take a peek at the overview video if you would like to know more about the astrological influences at play in a little bit more detail that I reference in this reading. If you enjoy it and you find that this tarot spread is to your liking and you either want to know more about it or use it on your own, go ahead and check out the description below. I've created this spread with that astrology in mind, and I've created an infographic for you to print out or keep on your phone so that you can have it for your own use. So without any further ado, let's stop into your cards. Okay, so Cancer, this month, the focus and theme is the Knight of Cups. This is definitely not a bad thing. The Knight of Cups is often considered the false knight because he's not so much about going out and getting into scuffles. He's more about going out and being romantic and exploring things like music and partners and getting to know people, following his heart. This is very much this energy of exploring open-heartedly, feeling your way around, and being guided more by your emotions and less by concrete factors. So that's sort of the theme of the month. This card represents your kind of starting point, like where you are at the beginning of the month. And here we have the Queen of Wands, and she is a great benefactor. She has many things, she gives many things. She is the queen of action, and she tends to give without any expectation of receiving back. She wants to support people and see them thrive, just to see them thrive. This is a beautiful energy of giving without any concept of expecting something back and being truly altruistic. This is a wonderful way to start out the month. We'll see when we get into it a little bit more how this kind of Wands energy, which is very fast-paced, can kind of shift a little bit. This is a really good place to be starting off. The challenge for this month is the Page of Wands. This energy is just as impish as his face would kind of seem. He's kind of got something up his sleeve. Page of Wands always does. Pages are a very new, childlike type energy, and they can also be messengers. They can be news, good news or bad. And given that this is in your placement of challenges, I would say there might be some news that kind of shakes things up a little bit. And it also could be that you're using this activity and this sort of sense of, I have all these things, I want to share all these things, I want to be of use and benefit to everyone. You might want to kind of, if you could think of a theme for this month for you, Cancer, it would be to slow your roll. You want to kind of dial it back. The Page of Wands can definitely put effort ahead of thought. He's very prone to that. This is a time where you might get some shake-up type of news, but it's also a time when you might act on something way too quickly without thinking it through in detail. So I would say the challenge this month is to take this, I'm bigger than everything and I want to help and give and do, and kind of bring that in and say, let me think about it a little bit. Let me ruminate on it and then see how I can best be of service rather than jumping into it very quickly. And with that, we get into the card that represents the whispers from your guides, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's sort of your guide saying, hey, we're here with you, and this is like the best thing you can do to take advantage of this and to help yourself this month. And it's Page of Coins. This is a very different page, still somewhat a messenger, but let's compare him to our Page of Wands. Page of Wands is very fiery, action-oriented. Let's go, let's do it, let's hurry up, let's make it happen. Your Page of Coins is a little bit more like, oh, that sounds nice. Let's take it back and run it through and see if it's practical. This person's a little bit more grounded, a little bit more resource-oriented, and wants to make sure that they're taking a whole view of everything into consideration before acting. So if this is your guide saying your challenge is not to act too quickly, it would be, yeah, don't act too quickly, but also just remember that childlike energy of wanting to act suddenly and do, maybe pull that back a little bit and see what the best way to bring your energy to everything is. Take a moment to say, is this the best way I can show up? Is this the best way to use my energy, my time, my finances, my energy, whatever it might be? Take that back and think a little bit, especially if it has to do with resources, which, yes, includes actual physical money or coin, but also resources in general, like your physical energy, like the things that you have to do at work, the things that you have to do to keep the roof over your head, making sure that there's a little bit more stability and groundedness so that you're not overextending yourself. Honestly, these are not bad cards at all. You're in a very good position to do some really beautiful things this month. The last card position I've called exploring our values and beliefs. And this particular position in this reading has to do specifically with the eclipse season that's going to be happening between the 25th of this month and the 8th of next month. This is going to be a very choppy time, and it's going to be a global influence. There's going to be a lot of action required of us with very little notice, and we'll need to kind of know where we stand before we show up there. So this particular part of the reading is geared towards, if you have a homework assignment, if you choose to accept it, what kinds of themes, beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions do we have ingrained within ourselves that would be worthy of exploring, that could help us act in the best possible way come the 25th and onward. And with that, we get our only major arcana card. With that, I would recommend, the cards would recommend, that you explore your beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions around fate, around how people end up with one thing versus another, about how some people have and some people give and some people receive, where we are in relation to that. The Wheel of Fortune is all about karma and fates. It's almost like it brings a roulette wheel to mind, but unlike roulette in the traditional sense, this is weighted. This is weighted by what you've put out and what you're getting back. Sometimes people put out more and get back less, and vice versa. It would be worth it for you to explore concepts and themes outside of your usual comfort zone, and maybe get some sources of information that are outside of your usual sources of information. Maybe get some new perspective on how things like wealth, security, stability, and all those other things stack up equally and not so equally from person to person, place to place. So that's your homework if you choose to accept it. If you are able to do that in any capacity, that will serve you well 25th through the 8th. And with that, that is your October cards, Cancer. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to be reminded about your November cards, go ahead and give a subscription. I also provide 5 times weekly live streamed healings with crystals and Reiki. You can join me for any of those for some self-care. You can also learn more about my online Reiki classes, my community Discord, social media, and crystal shop, all in the description below. This is the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti, and you can also find those linked in the description. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful month of October, and I hope to see you again next month.